late with her timing. She was hitting the line. Her ball was still behind her. She was not able to pull the ball through. Someone with late timing really has to be exact at all times. They have to be consistent. We're going to take a look at our first shot and just see when I talk about how late she really was. Now, in her third step, she gets the ball moving, but she's already at the line. Her ball is now coming through, and she just loses it. She gets very off balance and is unable to really get the leverage to get the ball up to the head pin or get the proper rotation on the ball.
So Fleming with 111 pins down by the end of the 7th frame, working on an open frame in the 8th. She's pretty much out of this match.
Right now, she could only shoot 201, but Stacy Ryder is really bowling well at a 230 pace, and you're right, that pretty much locked it up.
Well, if you're going to have a lot of open frames, just as well to get them all out of the way at once, don't you think?
I have to laugh at one of Renee Fleming's bios is that she is a member of the Price is Right game show Hall of Fame. And I said, what is the Price is Right Hall of Fame? And she said, well, I overbid by the most of any person that has ever been on the Price is Right. She overbid an item by the most amount of money. And I guess Bob Barker had a pretty good time with that one as he gave her a lot of ribbing.
But she won the car.
But she did make it up. Eventually, she made it up onto the Price is Right. She won a car and came out to be a success story. But she is not a member of the Bowling Hall of Fame yet. But she has a different Hall of Fame to her credit.
Stacy Ryder's string of strikes ends at 4 in the 8th frame. She leaves 3 standing.
Averaging 212 for the tournament. Has gone well beyond that this game.
Stacy enjoys a 79-pin lead with 2.5 frames remaining.
She's just increased her career win-loss record to 3-10, and she will face Leanne Barrett in round.
So with that spare, pretty well locks up the match for Stacy Ryder. Renee Fleming finishes it out in 5th place. When we come back, we'll have a little tip from Leila. We'll talk about the outside of the ball. So here's the results of the first matchup. Stacy Ryder's the winner, 232 to 169. Yes, folks, 9 strikes in that first match. Now we go down to Leila, who's got something interesting to tell us about the balls.
Tonight begins the first part in a 3-piece series on the evolution of bowling equipment. With me is Dale Warren, 2-time PBA titleist and field marketing specialist for AMF. Dale, in 1905, this was the ball that everyone used. It was the hard rubber bowling ball. Yet it took 55 years for the industry to make a change, and that change was cosmetic. We saw the introduction of the plastic ball, those high fashionable colors. Yet 20 years later, a different change was made, and that change was to urethane. Dale, why was urethane developed?
Well, simply put, Leila, hook. The urethane balls hooked quite a bit more than the plastic balls, and the surface of the lane was changing from lacquer to urethane, and the urethane ball really outperformed the plastic ball quite a bit.
And you mentioned hook. Well, now, 10 years later, we've seen reactive resin come into play. What is reactive resin, and what does it do?
Well, really, all it is a urethane bowling ball with an additive. And what this additive does, it allows the ball to skid further down the lane, but when it hits the break point, or the hook area of the lane, it hooks much sharper.
And these surfaces can also be altered, correct?
Absolutely. Here we have a few bowling balls with a dull, medium, and shiny surface. The dull meaning for oily lanes, and the medium for medium, and the shiny for hooking lanes. And with the help of sandpapers and different compounds, you can alter the ball so that you can specifically design the ball for your particular game.
Can urethane balls also be surface changed?
Absolutely, but you know, you really can't beat the performance of these high reactive resin balls.
All right, well, thank you very much for being with us. And we'd like to tell you to join with us next week as we discuss the inner core designs of these high-performance bowling balls.
So an inside look at the ball next time, but right now we're getting ready for the next matchup. Leanne Barrett against Stacy Ryder. Stacy Ryder, through her victory in the first matchup, gets to meet Leanne Barrett, already victorious in one pro event this year. She's got 15 titles to her career, and she's going to start us off on lane 19.
It'll be interesting to see if Leanne Barrett can come out and make a decent shot in her first frame. In the past, she says, I try to make too perfect of a shot. I usually throw it too far right. You usually see me leave a 2-8-10 or something of a lighter hit. But look at this. She's overcome it. And I can tell you right now what's going through her mind is, hey, I just threw a great shot on my first shot. And this is going to set the tempo for the rest of the game for that lady.
Turning up the heat early. Now Stacy Ryder will make her attempt. Stacy likes to collect baseball cards. Hobby. Began bowling 20 years ago. She turns 26 later this month. Boom! Punch and counter punch. Answers the strike of Barrett with a strike of her own.
Really starting this tour at a very young age, as you mentioned. She's currently 25. She's been 7 years on the tour. I believe she came out when she was around 18, almost 19 years old. Looking for the double to try to keep some pressure on Leanne. Player with a lot of television experience, Leanne Barrett. Stacy Ryder has her hands full in this match.
And they all fall on that one. 2 in a row for Stacy Ryder here in the second match. We talked with Leanne a little bit about the impact of intimidation on the hardwood. She tends to not want to make a big deal about her consistency or her dominance. Kind of shy about it.
She is. Very nice player. Really does not take anything for granted. She's got a lot of motivation right now. For the next 3 years, I am motivated to bowl well. Leanne Barrett's approach, she takes a 4-step approach, actually gets the ball moving down. Almost looks like she's going to attack the pin, but here she is at the top of her swing. She'll start coming down here shortly. Excellent follow through. Again, that extended reach. Tries to get the ball long through the head.
Ooh, the 7-pin just taking a dive, and she makes 3 in a row.
Stacy Ryder currently 13th in points, 14th in earnings. Again, a light wall shot from Leanne Barrett. The head pin off the wall, comes over, hits the 4. 4 takes out the 5. That was for the turkey. And both players are using the reactive resin balls that Dell and myself were talking about. But there still is a place for urethane. A few of the blocks, I know the players came out, and especially the morning blocks, when there was a lot of fresh oil. The back end, the last 15 feet of the lane was really hooking. They did not need that extra drive that the reactive resin gives you. They wanted more of an even roll. They chose to throw urethane. And at times you'll see players still drilling up the plastic balls for their spare balls. Matter of fact, there's a couple of them down there on the rack right now for spares. But with these ladies continually throwing strikes, we might not see those used.
That's right. It's been a flawless match so far. 7 strikes, and we're now in the 4th frame for Barrett.
Looking for number 4 to stay up with Stacy, and she demolishes the rat.
Championship week's coming up on ESPN beginning Saturday, March 5th. 33 games, 26 conference championships. The NCAA Selection Special on ESPN. So let's see if Barrett can keep the string going. This is like who's going to blink first.
I'm seeing shades of the match we saw just a couple weeks ago with Leanne Barrett and Wendy McPherson Papanos. 279, John, to 278. Leanne Barrett was the victor in that match.
Wow. This is some great bowling going on.
And Stacy Ryder says, why do I have to run into Leanne right now? Here I just shot a 232 game, and I am now up against someone else that is throwing as many strikes as I am. Oh, ringing pin. And this pin just flies around the 10 pin. Excellent shot.
Still 4 in a row with a 9 to follow. Not a bad start to the match.
Choosing to pick up a plastic bowling ball to shoot her spare. The ball will not hook like the reactive resin ball.
What happened on that first ball?
Well, actually, this is really a nice shot. She's playing right between right around the 13th board. That's between the second and third arrow. The ball goes out to about the 9th board, makes a nice break back. At the 6th and just flies around the 10. Just a difference. It's a minute difference in the entry angle to the pocket. It's something you cannot adjust for when you're ringing the 10. Now that ball there, she actually got off her hand a little early, rotated it too much, pulled her arm to the left, and you saw the result. The ball went left.
Well, the tiny mistake in the 5th frame put her 11 pins back. Now with another mistake in the 6th.
Leaving the 3-10, she's going to try to put the ball right between the 3-10 and the 10 pin. At least pick up the spare, stay close.
And that's got to hurt.
And I think she actually thought that she was going to get that. The ball appeared to be making the move, but it just slid.
Now Barrett in the driver's seat. Will she relax and let down at all? Let's find out.
Leanne Barrett growing up in the junior program in Fremont, California, under Don Hillman, pulled against other players in juniors like Dee Dee Davidson, Wendy McPherson, Kim Kennedy. They all played together in junior ranks. They are all out here now playing together in the professional ranks.
So Barrett's got 6 strikes in a row and a 34-pin lead. She enters the 7th frame. Nice string going there, Leanne.
Earlier, averaging 251 on this pair. So this pair has been good to her.
And she keeps it going.
She has the first 7 strikes right now. 44-pin lead, Stacy Ryder.
So as long as Barrett continues to strike, we'll stick with this action. Ryder with 44-pin deficit as Barrett is contemplating her next move. Oh, almost back on track, leaves the 8.
Well, Stacy's saying right now, well, if anything else can go wrong, what can I do? I've hit the pocket 2 times in a row on lane 20. Solid 8-pin. Watch the ball here. Goes right. 5-pin's supposed to take out the 8. It goes straight back. What are you going to do? You're going to shake your head, pick it up, and go on to the next frame.
There's no shame in losing to Barrett in this state of affairs.
What you say is, just if I could have carried, though, the 10-pin, the 8-pin, maybe I could have kept a little pressure on her, but the match is really not over. There's 3 frames left. Stacy Ryder could go to the wall for 246. Meanwhile, Leanne Barrett would have to continue to mark in the next 3 frames, and stranger things have happened. Four-time Southern California All-Star team member. Stacy Ryder started bowling at the age of 6.
And that one gets her back on track. So she strikes in the 8th. We see if Barrett can continue her winning ways. She has 7 in her string, looking for numbers 8 and 9.
Leanne actually checking the rack. She has allowed 2 re-racks per game. She saw that 8-pin that Stacy left last game. She says maybe that was the rack. It was a pretty good hit, so we're going to get a chance to take a look at the rack, see if we see anything a little off spot. Well, actually, yeah, it looks pretty good, but, you know, you never know what a player can see down there from that angle.
So Barrett on her way, hoping for her 18th career 300 game.
She's one of only 4 women to ever roll back-to-back 300 games, and she did that in Alexandria, Virginia.
And she's certainly one step closer. 2 tosses away from 10 consecutive frames.
First 8 strikes. Leanne Barrett won earlier this year in Alexandria, Louisiana. Currently, like I mentioned, opening first in all our events.
And she's now to the final frame with a perfect string going. 9 strikes in a row for Leanne Barrett. She'll have to sit it down for a while first. Stacey Ryder has 2 more frames in her game.
Right now, Stacey Ryder's probably not going to take too much time. She'll just get out of Leanne's way. There's never been a player to shoot 300 on a telecast. We did have the opportunity to see Alita Sill and her partner bowl 300 in the doubles. Rory Soto was her partner in that event. They shot 300 together, but no individual has ever bowled 300 in the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Paula Drake came the closest from nearby Tulsa, Oklahoma. She shot 299.
Ooh, heartbreak. Oh, and who was the other bowler in that matchup? The 299 victim.
That was me.
You. That's right.
That's right. Matter of fact, we had the first 8, and I missed. I must say I choked that one. And
how can you say it's a choke after 8?
Because you throw a bad frame. I mean, you really didn't release the ball well. You did not throw a good shot. So I consider it choking in the 8th frame.
Well, a smile out of Stacey Ryder. She gets a strike in her first shot in the 10th frame. And there's a woman who's definitely got to be thinking about the implications of what's coming up for her in her final frame here in this match.
Well,
Leanne Barrett has 9 straight.
Tammy Turner shot 300 earlier this week, the only player to do so. And she picked it up, a respectable 216, but she ran into a racehorse by coming up against Leanne Barrett. And like I predicted in the opening, what a match we will see coming up next between Leanne Barrett and Tammy Turner. 2 very powerful players on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour.
So Stacey Ryder will sit down with a 216. Certainly nothing to be ashamed about, but everyone is waiting to see if Leanne Barrett can do something that's never been seen before on television for a women's pro bowler.
Position before. We talked about her shyness. She got up there, really did not take much time, but I'd venture to say Leanne was a little nervous on that shot.
I was nervous just watching her. There's the first smile we've seen in a long time.
Well, spare here, followed up by a strike. She's in the 277 range.
Oh! And so a sad finish to the 10th frame. We'll be back to talk to Leanne and Barrett, the winner, 265 to 216, 9 consecutive strikes. She's with Leila down on the hardwood.
With the possibility of shooting 300, being the first woman to ever do so on the telecast, Leanne Barrett, what was going through your mind in the 10th frame?
Well, I had a bet with the tournament director of $1, and it was weighing on me. It was too much pressure.
It did not appear that you had that good of a shot in practice. Did the lanes change?
I had a real iffy shot. They were pretty tight, but I think with Stacey playing in, they kind of opened up a little, and I think they're getting better.
All right, well, good luck to you in the next match. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Leila. The third match will feature Leanne Barrett against a newcomer.
And finishing fourth in the first two tournaments of the Winter Tour, Wendy McPherson and the 1994 Lady of the Night Classic champion, Carolyn Doran.
Robin Romeo from Van Nuys finished in 10th place. Kim Burke in 11th out of Beatrice, Nebraska.
And Jan Schmidt finishing fifth in the last two tournaments, along with Chris McCune trying to keep up with her brother Eugene, who bowls on the PBA Tour.
Amateur Lil Johnson finished in 14th place. Anne-Marie Dugan, defending champion, had to settle for 15th.
And coming along from her injury earlier this year, Carol Giannotti in 15th, and Jackie Sellers making all four of the top 24 cuts so far this year.
Kim Kennedy had her mom in the audience, watching her get 18th place. Lisa Wagner finished in 19th.
And Nikki Giannulli back in the top 24, 18-time career titleist. And Sue Neidig, the only lefty in the top 24 this week.
Elaine Blamenberg in 22nd place out of Cranston, Rhode Island. In 23rd, Lisa Burrow from Hot Springs, Arkansas, her first national event.
And amateur Leslie Beamish, it's 1993 Team USA member, finishing 24th. And our alternate this week, Dee Dee Davidson, the 1993 U.S. Open champion.
We'll be back with more, but you should know that Will Rogers had tried his hand at bowling. The sport will continue it when we return after this. Back to the Claremore Classic in Claremore, Oklahoma. Cedar Lanes, 24 of them, all wood. Third matchup now. Tammy Turner's going to start us off on lane 19. Possibly Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year in the same year.
But right now, she's up against Leanne Barrett, who is that forerunner as Player of the Year. Opening shot coming up a little high. Leaves the 410.
Now, Leila, Tammy watched Barrett just miss a 300 game. Does that have any impact at all on Turner, do you think?
Well, I think it does, since Tammy is pretty inexperienced out here on the tour right now. She has to think, oh my gosh, Leanne is so lined up. Of course, Leanne has to be one of Tammy Turner's idols. It's one of these players that she actually watched in the past few years, coming through saying, you know, I want to accomplish what Leanne has accomplished in her career, and to see her come out and just throw nothing basically but strikes. It has to be intimidating. You know you've got to come out and excel.
Well, certainly the strike has to be some intimidation factor. We talked with Leanne Barrett about such the item.
Can intimidate people, I think, but because some people intimidate me just the way they act, you know. I mean, if they outwardly show their confidence, but I think the way I feel about intimidating people is just bowl, and your bowling can intimidate them, you know. Because I never really feel comfortable with, like, slapping things off in people's faces, you know, and going, you know, getting all into them, so.
She doesn't need to play mind games. She just plays the lane. Oh, well, the string has stopped at 1 here in the third match. But Leanne Barrett does have that faraway look in her eyes. I mean, she's not trying to psych anyone out.
No, she's just out there doing her own thing. She's, you know, very down to earth. Just, you know, says, I'm out here to bowl, and just a super nice person altogether. Solid 9-pin. Bad break here. This is a result of the high reactive resin bowling equipment. Breaks sharply in the back end. Normally the balls take out the 9, but in this case her ball just continued left, did not take it out. A real break here for Tammy Turner. Extra deep breath. Tammy had a lot of problems with her spares this week, she said. It'll be interesting to see what happens this evening. She went to a new spare ball.
Come on.
Tammy's nickname on the tour, the Taminator. She taminated those pins in the second frame.
I mentioned Tammy shot 300 games this week, also an 8-17 series. Tammy, beautiful style, 5-step approach, very aggressive. Takes her first step, then actually comes down, gets the ball moving in her second step. Here in her third step, she is right at the top of her backswing in her fourth. Look at this position. Very high backswing, will come through. Very strong player, perfect position. Look at the low knee bend, the extension. Really a great hand. Look at her hand there. It was very open. The urethane release that you often hear about. And high games this week. Leanne Barrett shot 299.
And Turner beat it by 1.
trying to make up some of those pins that she lost. She cut Leanne Barrett's lead to just 1 pin. Two-time Lynn Shute Player of the Year, was also the 1991 Bowling Writers Association Bowler of the Year. In just a short 8 years on tour, she has 15 career titles.
She counters with a strike. Wednesday, inside the PGA Tour at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Get the inside story on the world of golf. Those of you who like the senior athletes, well, just wait a day. Because on Thursday, we go inside the senior PGA Tour. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
Really could have had the first 3 in a row, but solid 9-pin here on this lane, lane 19 in the second frame. Kept her from having them.
Ooh.
Now flat 10. While really not driving hard enough, leaves the 6-pin right in the channel. Leanne playing 19. Right around the 20th board at 15 feet, playing a very deep inside line. Her ball's going out to the 11th board around her break point, about 30 feet. And then it starts to make break back, so she's swinging around 9 boards, switching balls for spare. Again, that plastic ball. Lower friction, will not grab the lane, will not hook. The 1992 Bowling Writers Association Amateur Player of the Year, Tammy Turner, made a telecast in the fall last year, the Samstown Invitational.
Talking about 300 games, Tammy Turner picked up her 300 on a home camera.
You can see here, March 2nd, as it's printed in a couple days ago. We'll get a chance to look up here at the scoreboard. That was the final
It's official,
strike.
folks. Applause, applause all the way around. It's nice to have a record of that. Relief, folks. She won't get 300 in this game, but she's certainly putting a string together now. Got 4 going. She's up by 19 pins. Leanne Barrett will be taking her turn in the 5th frame.
Well, I mentioned this was the match to watch, and it really is. Leanne Barrett has not missed the pocket. Tammy with 4 in a row. 2 very strong, powerful players playing an inside line, yet getting the balls to really hit in the back end.
So Barrett counters, has 80 pins down in the 4th and a strike in the 5th.
As high scoring as this match may seem to be going, earlier this week, Leanne Barrett beat Tammy Turner, but the score was only 201 to 188. As Leanne Barrett takes a re-rack, again, she's allowed 2 per game. Working as a sales rep for the Tony Westlake Bowling Supply when she's off the tour, she says, I really have enjoyed my job. Right now, trying to get a double. Cut her deficit to 9, and she does.
A triple rebound works for Leanne Barrett. We'll be back with more of the Claremore Classic as you look at the prize money available. Don't go away. Come back, John Neighbor and Leila Wagner's. We're watching Tammy Turner. She leads by 9. She's working on a string of 4 in the 6th frame.
Tammy's really had some excellent coaching, John. She was the 1993 Team USA member, also a 95 Team USA member, but gave it up to bowl on the Pro Tour. Hank Boomershine right now, Tammy's fiance, is currently her coach. She also bowled for West Texas State, along with Carolyn and Kathy Dorn, who are now on the tour with her.
Well, Coach, whatever you're doing, keep it up. She's got 5 in a row.
Well, I know he drove 6 hours today to be here for her tonight. Uh-oh.
Ooh, in the channel. What a shame.
And you heard her say, come on. Really an error here. Take a look and see what happens. It could be a timing problem. Gets a little bit quick. Does not get the leverage. Watch here, the ball just basically is going to fall off her hand. When you get a little fast with your feet and unable to get it through, the ball falls off. She hit the center of the lane, and it just slid. Trying to pick up the spare. She does it. Look at that. A chance to look at the ball coming off her hand. Basically nothing on it. Got off her hand too quickly. This usually results because your feet get too fast. Big break for Leanne Barrett. Right now, Leanne trails by 9. A strike here. She can take the lead by 1. Oh.
Ooh, leaves the 10.
What we might be seeing right now, as Leanne had mentioned, the lanes seem to be opening up, but now the conditioner is starting to carry down. Leanne's not quite getting the hit in the back end. Watch this as the ball hits a little bit flat. 5-pin shoots front of the 8-pin. The 6-pin sits into the channel, but the 8-pin falls at the last minute. Oh my. If anyone can make a plastic ball hook, it's Leanne Barrett.
Well, I shouldn't be laughing, I guess. An open frame. And 7, that puts her 22 pins down in the 8th frame. You just have to shake those off. We were talking with them earlier, talking about knowing what to do and not being able to execute it.
That's right. Leanne Barrett right now trailing by 22. Has a possible 227 game going. Right now, Tammy Turner shooting around the 220 pace, too. If she can catch another double. So this match is far from over. Tammy mentioned to me last night, John, that she's really learned a lot about the tour out here, and she said that she's learned she's got to change some hand positions at times. Even though she has cashed week after week, there are certain things that she needs to learn in order to stay on top of it.
So both bowlers with a strike in the 8th. Turner with a 22-pin advantage.
Big frame here in the 9th, trying to catch the double, keep the pressure on Leanne Barrett.
Ooh. Leaves the 10-pin, an unfortunate turn of events. Because now Leanne Barrett working on a strike in the 8th.
Right now, Leanne can shoot 227. Tammy Turner can shoot 229. So basically, whatever Leanne does in the 10th, if she catches this one here in the 9th, Tammy Turner is going to have to match her.
She goes Brooklyn. They all come down. Strike in the 9th. That's 2 in a row. Yes, the collar feeling a little bit tight right about now.
Actually turning that ball early. She had been playing around the 20th board out to the 11th. That ball only made it to the 14th board. So you can see she played a much tighter line. Probably not intentional. Got around it a little too much. Really tried to juice it up. She got the break, though, by going Brooklyn. She says, hey, that makes up for that solid 9-pin I left earlier. Again, whatever Leanne Barrett does right here in the 10th, Tammy Turner has to match her.
The battle of experience versus talent. And she goes center on the head pin, leaves 3 standing, 2. One actually fell just then.
Actually, it appears Leanne was making the adjustment, moving a little farther left, but she got a little earlier hook in the front part of the lane than she had been getting last game. The conditioner breaking down, meaning it's going away. Players had to get farther in left. I guess Leanne she was making the subtle adjustment. Just did not get far enough in there. Picks up the spare nicely. Strike here gives her 205. She's going to force Tammy Turner to at least get 9 pins on the first ball.
Now, is Turner making the mental calculations, the mathematical pins required? Or she's just trying for that strike? That's all she can do.
That's right. She's just going to get up there. This is where experience plays an important part. She needs to get up there and just try to make the best shot she can.
Well, that conditioner taking its turn on Leanne Barrett. Final score for Barrett, 202.
Right now, Tammy Turner needs 7 pins on this shot or better, and she's the winner of this match. Looks great to me.
That's it, folks. She will advance to meet Michelle Mullen. Of course, she's not over yet. She gets 2 more balls in this frame.
Tammy Turner finished second at the Sandstown Invitational, qualified second there. But in the championship match, she lost to Robin Romeo, 194 to 191.
As an amateur, nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all. And it was a big purse in that particular event. I think she walked away with well over $12,000. Hank Boomershine looking on. Says, hey, Tammy, forget about the shot in the channel. At the end of this match, she can laugh about it, shake it off, and say, the new game, next game.
So she takes 20 pins in the 10th frame for a final score of 219. Defeats Barrett by 17 pins. We'll be back with the final matchup. Michelle Mullen will meet the Taminator when we return to Claremore. Over Renee Fleming, 232 to 169. 9 strikes by Ryder in that first match.
Really a blowout match with Stacy Ryder against Renee. Renee never getting lined up in that match.
Second matchup, Stacy Ryder ran into the buzzsaw of 9 consecutive strikes of Leanne Barrett and won 265 to 216.
Stacy Ryder had a chance with the first 4, but left a solid 10 in the 5th, and that took the wind out of her sails.
Well, perhaps the wind left Leanne Barrett's sails in the third match as she fell to Tammy Turner, 219 to 202.
A solid 10 pin in the 7th frame there, and Leanne misses it. Could have been a different story.
When we come back, the championship match. Tammy Turner, the rookie, against Michelle Mullen, the top qualifier.
All-Pro quarterback Dan Marino.
When the game is over and the pain starts, I want 2 things from my pain-relieving rub: fast relief and no odor. So I use Sports Cream, a strong pain-relieving rub that doesn't make me smell like a medicine chest. I just massage in Sports Cream for fast, odor-free relief. Cream or lotion, Sports Cream sure gets my vote for most valuable pain reliever.
You move like synchronized swimmers when you're asleep. But when it's time to wake up, you stop moving altogether. Just add water to Coast Soap for a motion potion that'll put you back in the swim. Coast, the eye-opener.
When your dentist cleans your teeth, he uses special instruments that get between them. But what toothbrush would your dentist prefer to use? Well, in a recent nationwide test, dentists tried a leading flat brush and Crest Complete. The brush more dentists preferred was Crest Complete. See, Crest Complete is shaped like your teeth, so it reaches far between them. Now, shouldn't you choose Crest Complete? Of course you should. And it's now available in designer black.
Pardon me, where are you going with all that Bud Light?
The Lee family reunion.
Then I'm here for the Lee family reunion.
You're a member of the Lee family?
Yes, I am.
Right this way.
你是李中的老大。Sure, I just sure.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
你真有点像他。
Defending champion Al Geiberger squares off against the world's best senior golfers at the GTE West Classic. Live on ESPN.
We're back with more coverage of the Claremore Classic just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tammy Turner will start us off on lane 19. Just defeated Leanne Barrett by 17 pins. We started frame number 1.
2 players with 2 different starts in their career. Michelle Mullen, coming up next, did not start in a junior program, which is very unusual for a professional player. Most of the professional players have started out in the juniors, but Michelle said, no, we used to just go on occasion with my grandfather. And Tammy Turner, on the other hand, did come up through the junior league. Michelle Mullen waiting for the re-rack right here.
While we're waiting for the re-rack, don't forget to join us next Friday for the AMF Ninja Challenge from Corpus Christi, Texas. And it'll be 11:30 Central Friday evening.
Michelle's opening shot a little wide. And I mentioned Leanne Barrett often came out and opened up with a 2-8-10. Well, Michelle Mullen has something even a little harder, the 2-4-8-10. Switching balls, wasting no time. She's going to give it all she can.
Ooh, left two standing. She was collegiate national champion in 1985, both for the University of Illinois.
Really says a lot about the collegiate program right now, the Team USA program. These players gained a lot of experience in collegiate competition, a lot of maturity before they came out in the professional ranks. This is Michelle Mullen's 8th year on tour. She has 3 career titles. She recently became a coach for Team USA, which she's extremely excited about.
She likes teaching. She likes working with the young amateurs, and they learn from her. They're learning from one of the best. Tammy Turner, last Amateur of the Year in 1992, also a collegiate champion for West Texas State in 92.
She has 2 sisters. Half-sister Brittany, who is only 3 years old, who I'm sure will try to follow up in big sister's footsteps. She says she hasn't started bowling yet, which is kind of unusual. I have Ryan, my 4-year-old, and actually Alex, my 2-year-old, now bowling. They do pretty well with their...
How heavy a ball can a 2-year-old pick up?
6 pounds, and he does it very well.
That's pretty good. And pins fall when they hit the 6 pounds.
Those little bumpers out there. And Tammy also has a sister, Jenny.
Come on. Come on.
Here's the, come on. She's playing a very deep inside line, and this is why I talk about the powerful players on the tour today. They're able to get in that deep around the 4th arrow, coming at a different angle to the pocket, yet they're still able to carry and get out the 10s most of the time.
And Tammy picks up the spare in the 3rd frame. She encountered a little illness earlier in the season, had to pull out once she made the finals. Still got some cash.
She did. The flu has seemed to be plaguing the ladies' pro tour, as Stacy Ryder was suffering terribly yesterday, but still able to bowl well enough to make it to the telecast. And you're right, I think Tammy Turner, they say, has started it a couple weeks ago.
Rookies. 2 pins left standing in the 3rd frame won't help Michelle Mullen, who's 21 pins down.
Michelle's coming in playing a very deep line, but what she has not experienced is the carry down, the conditioner carrying down, therefore not getting the big break in the back end that she may have seen earlier when she practiced. An adjustment she might want to make a little bit right, maybe 2 boards right with her feet.
So Michelle, the 29-year-old, picks up the spare. We talked with her earlier about her predictions for her future goals.
I'm just beginning my 8th year out on tour, and I feel as though the best is yet to come, and I just keep focusing on doing the best that I can. I feel like I'm getting better and better, and hopefully I'll come into my own, and if that's not already happening, and like I said, see the best yet.
An optimistic attitude, perhaps helped out by some of the reading she's been doing, some sports psychology books, self-help books, positive self-talk. It seems to be working. She qualified top of the pack at the end of the position round. She gets a strike. So now Turner working on a spare, her 4th frame. And takes them all down.
You can see the revolutions that her ball has as it hits the pocket. That ball not sliding too far, but making the great break back to really carry. She's playing around the 17th board, the ball going out to about the 11th board here. She really hits it. See the revolutions, how the ball is tilting right here. It hits its break point, takes a left turn, all 10 pins in the pit. And here's a look at bowler track. You can see exactly where she's hitting. 17 to 11, swinging about 8 boards. Perfect line.
And another strike ensures that she won't slip on that 31-pin lead for a while.
These two players played in the position round last night. Tammy Turner had the #1 position going into the last game, but she lost to Michelle Mullen, 268 to 225.
That was a great match.
Yes, Michelle put on the heat. Highest 1994 finish so far for Michelle, 11 in 2 events, the Lady Ebonite Classic and also the Alexandria, Louisiana Open.
Well, Michelle leaves the 4 here in the 5th frame.
You mentioned the reading that Michelle has done. She's really tried to master the game of bowling. She says that is one of her goals, really, is to just master this game. She feels she's at about a 75% level there.
Leala, why do you suppose Michelle is slipping in this game here? Should she change balls? Is it her position?
I'm sorry. Just slipping as in not getting the ball to the head pin?
That's correct. She's
okay.
not having a great
She's
match.
hitting the ball. The ball's coming up light. She's probably making some very subtle adjustments on lane 20. She has not gone high, so it's difficult to say what kind of adjustment she's making. She's really just expecting to get the ball to break a little more in the back end, and it's not happening for her. Right there. Oh, she got it, but the 4-9 almost stood. She got the little snap that she was looking for. Previous couple shots, she was a little deep maybe with her feet, sending the ball into the oil, into the conditioner a little too long. That type of moves, again, I was mentioning, she'd probably make a 2-board right adjustment with her feet, maybe 1 board with her target.
So she gets the spare in the 6th frame. Turner gets a chance.
And a big break here for Michelle Mullen. Appeared that she got lined up here on this shot as the ball comes in just a little bit high in the pocket. 9-pin out at the last minute. Meanwhile, though, this lady...
Ooh, nudges the 10, but it does not fall.
Switching balls to shoot the 10-pin. No problem.
So she picks up that spare. We asked Tammy Turner if she practices any sort of physical regimen while she's on the tour.
No, but after 4 weeks on tour, I think I should start immediately. I mean, definitely. I think that if you can just get yourself in shape and maybe have a little edge over the other girls, maybe have a little more stamina, and, when you're in better shape, your attitude's better. So that I think I need to work on as soon as this thing's over. I've already thought about it.
And Leala, you're right, or she's right. When you're sick, you just don't feel like you can do anything right.
Well, she's looking very strong right now, but the players out here, it's a 42-game format, but by the time they bowl practice session, pro-ams, they're roughly bowling 75 games a week, and it does take its toll on the body. There's many times you feel like you're soaking in a hot bath just to loosen up those muscles. The better physical shape you're in, the more stamina you have, the better you can perform.
Mullen leaves the 10 in the 7th frame.
See where she's made the adjustments now. She's now in the pocket, a little bit light. She's afraid to make too drastic of a move because she does not want to get an overreaction. She knows that there's the dry boards to the right, and if she hits them too early, the ball's going to break too sharp onto the nose. So she is making the subtle adjustments, but they're just not quite enough right now.
So she picks up the spare here in the 10th frame. Basketball, college basketball here on ESPN. Number 5, North Carolina versus Duke. That'll be 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, live right here on ESPN. Great battle. Later tonight, Cameron Indoor Stadium, a difficult place for that tournament to take, or battle to take place. But we return now to Claremore. Michelle Mullen having to make some sort of progress now, otherwise the game was just sort of slipping out of reach, and she leaves a difficult split.
Really never being able to get lined up on this pair. She is getting a definite over-under type reaction with this ball. She moves in. She is able to get there is a dry spot. Ball slides a little bit too much when she hits the oil. Hooks too much when she hits the dry. We saw it when she left the 4-9. She is fishing out there, but unfortunately, Tammy Turner has found the line as she has a 45-pin lead going into the 8th frame.
So we may be watching the first victory on the Pro Tour for this rookie, Tamara Turner, out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Her fiance may have made that 6-hour drive for a good reason. She gets the strike and a 55-pin lead at this point.
Really a player that can excel when it's her condition. As she mentioned that she learned a lot in the past few weeks when it was a grind out, things that she needed to do, but when the conditions like this, she can almost strike at will. And look at this, she's getting pumped up now. She senses that this could be her first national title and coming in over only her 4th event of the year.
As a pro.
As a pro.
She leaves 1 in the 9th frame, so her string stops at 2. She'll probably put this one away.
But it's enough.
We can call her the winner here. $9,000, the winner's purse. That's all she needs.
And her sponsor, the same sponsor, as a matter of fact, that Renee Fleming has. Ken Urban will be, he had 2 people in the top 5 this week. Good cash day for that sponsor. Michelle Mullen, on the other hand, really unable to get locked in, and it does seem to be an advantage for the number 2 player or the number 2 seed if she can win that match to get into the championship match. She had the lanes figured out, saw a little bit adjustment, what the lanes were doing. Michelle Mullen, on the other hand, sitting back in the wings, came on, had 6 balls to try to determine exactly what was going to happen.
Hey, Al, if you could personally choose your finish after the position round, would you want to be your first match in the first position at the end of the evening, or would you like to start a little earlier and warm up a bit?
Well, there's 2 thoughts there, John. Is first of all, being the top, you're always guaranteed second place, always guaranteed a little bit more money. Now, if you want to guarantee me that I'm going to win that match as the number 2 seed, then I'll take that seed. But really, everybody would rather be the number 1 coming in. But the number 2 player definitely has an advantage because she's been on the lanes for a full game.
Well, Michelle in the 10th frame gets a strike, but it won't be enough to win it all. She will take second place dollars home with her. And when you're single, you can use that money. Heck, even if you're married, you can always use the money. 8,300 games for Michelle Mullen in her past. High series of 825. She leaves 1 now.
Her last title came this past fall in the Brunswick Open in South Bend. She actually made 2 telecasts in the fall, and she said the reason the first telecast she did not fare as well is I was just happy to make it. I did not have the right attitude. I was not aggressive enough. She came back 2 weeks later, made the telecast, showed her aggressiveness, and won the event.
Well, 162 will be Mullen's final score. Tammy Turner, with 1 frame remaining, has the title in hand. And a lot of action, but leaves the 8-pin standing in the 10th.
And a very clean game. She was worried about her spares, but did not miss any in the 2 games that she bowled, as she is now going to shoot the 8-pin for a 220-plus game. Big smile to Hank. Carolyn and Kathy also sitting back there in her corner.
And a big ball to finish it out. Tammy Turner victorious. The fiance makes a 6-hour drive for good reason.
Congratulations. Great ball. Great title.
We'll take a short break, but we'll be back with more.
Nips the 3 on the right side, sends it to the left sideboard, comes back and kicks out the 7. If he doesn't make that, it's all over. However, with that conversion, he keeps some pressure on Steve Jaros, who has struck in 6 out of 7 frames and has a 38-pin lead through 7.
but the 10.
Something you don't see Jaros do very often is leave a solid tap. He has a speed and an angle and a release, much like Mike Albee, who won last week at Wichita. They have that medium speed, 15, 16 miles an hour, and when they can keep it in play, they don't drive the pins over the top of each other. As you see here, him leaving the solid 10, he quickly up and converts.
If you just joined us in our very first televised match head-to-head, Gene Stuss and John Handegard representing the seniors, the best of the seniors here in the Choice Hotels Summer Classic. Stuss won 202 to 183, earning the right to be in the challenge match, which follows this classic championship run for $25,000, winner take all. Steve Jaros bowling Ted Hannes, the winner to meet our tournament leader, who Bo just talked to a moment ago, and he's a great one, Kevin McGurr of Nebraska.
Well, Jaros just almost perfect throughout the game. Started with 3 in a row and then got left a 2-set 4-8, and he converted that. 3 more in a row, solid 10. He looks to the sideboard as you look at Ted Hannes with that serpentine 3.5-step delivery, which has served him well, but he's struggling in this match. He has an outside chance, which just went by the boards.
Show off. Can't win, that's for sure.
He says, I want to show off that I can make that. He made the 3, 6, 7, 10 last frame. You see him cutting high here. He leaves the 3, 4, 6, 7. And the technique necessary to make this is very similar to the last split he made. Get to the right of the 3, slide it into the 4-7 zone.
Or a double-barreled shotgun.
I think he has a better chance with that, especially to win the match.
Okay. So when you finish third in the Choice Hotels Summer Classic, it'll be worth $11,000. In front of the daughters of the proprietor, Richard Altman, Steve Jaros.
Well, Jaros has a potential 256. Ted Hannes, you see, is immersed in perspiration, a possible 192. Now make it 182. Good performance by Ted. A part-time player. Ted loves the inside line. He was kind of forced to the outside line by heavy oil condition today, but he can play anywhere. He's going to be happy with a solid third-place check.
This is our 23rd telecast.